let's take a look at the build I just used in the ISA you just saw. I am using a Fleet Arbiter T6 with a phaser cannon build. In the front I'm using a quad cannon, the prolonged engagement phaser, a sensor linked phaser dual cannons, and a phaser linked or sensor linked phaser dual heavy cannons, the quantum phase torpedo, a elite intervention protomatter deflector array from the colony, the competitive engine, which gives you a flight turn rate boost and a speed boost when you heal, or at least this version does, which is the version I personally like. Then the Bajor defense hyper injection warp core and the Bajor shield. These two give a little bonus to phaser, disruptor, and plasma. Another option is also using the, well, personally I prefer the Terran core and then the shield for the competitive. It gives a nice resistance bonus, or I think it was a resistance bonus. At the second piece. Well, it gives hull capacity and weapon specialization, which is also nice. And aft I use the Toiletium enhanced phaser, the heavy biomolecular phaser turret from the Reputation. This one's from the episode, one of the recent featured episodes, together with the reinforced armaments, which gives a decent bonus for fire cycle haste and flight speed, which is useful in a cannon build on a battle cruiser. And another random or regular phaser turret. Then the red matter capacitor, the energy amplifier, and field modulator. Then I use the console quantum phase converter, which gives the phaser bonus damage plus the 2-piece for the torpedo over there, which it just boosts the torpedo damage, or the special ability the torpedo has. Then the disruptor pulse emitter, which is a decent damage. I don't personally use the passives of it, or, well, I use them, but not too great effect, I guess, because I don't utilize them too much, because I usually, or more, have it because I want the 2-piece together with this one, which is one of the better consoles in the game at the moment. And the 2-piece gives a phaser disruptor plasma damage bonus, which is why I have that second console, and the damage of that console itself is actually pretty good, so yeah. Then a low-buy console, the tachyonetic converter, which gives turn rate, which is good again for cruiser and turrets, plus mainly the critical chance and severity, which is always really good. Then we have the bioneural infusion circuits, which is also a low-buy console, which gives a nice hull capacity boost and one of the biggest critical severity boosts within the game of a console. Also one of the reasons I use that. Then we have the new Domino console from the recent event chip, which gives phaser damage and accuracy rating, which is always nice, but especially the clicky is very good, especially if you time it right. And then last but not least, I guess, the tactical consoles, which are just the vulnerability locators, phasers, together with the 2-piece completion of the turret over here, which boosts phaser and disruptor, but also gives the 2-piece bonus, which is again phaser, disruptor, energy damage, and also increases that, but that's not so important. Then we move over to skills, I guess. I believe this is a decent standard build. Not 100% sure. I use these because I usually use escorts on this character, so otherwise I usually have this point over here, but otherwise pretty much the same, although yeah, pretty much the same as I usually do. And specializations, I use the intelligence officer and strategist, which is still very nice. And then we go to traits, which I use the Inspirational Leader. Activating any bridge officer ability grants 10 most starship skills, or at least 10% chance of that. Ablative Shell, which I still use on this character. On some characters I've moved over to, what's it called? Well, I don't know, the new survivability trait from the Discovery Lockbox, which is not that expensive on the exchange, which is where I get them. This one's also from the exchange, also not that expensive, I believe. Then Anchored, because going stationary, taking up the boost of damage, and the resistances hopefully are covered by other things. Then we have Fluid Cocoon, which gives the bonus energy damage when receiving kinetic damage. The A Good Day to Die trait, to be able to use my go down fighting pretty much, well, whenever I want. And then Intense Focus, to gain the accuracy and shield penetration while in combat. Superior Cannon Training, just to get the basic cannon damage. Fleet Coordinator, because you're in a team and it actually gives a decent boost. And Operative, which I might change over at some point, but for now it's fine. The basic, just crit chance and severity is nice. And then the Starship traits, which I use the Emergency Weapon Cycle, which I use pretty much in any build, which is also from the ship, although not the fleet version, but the regular one. Then the Withering Barrage, which is if you use a Scatter Volley build, is pretty much a mandatory thing, because it just boosts it so much. It's from a Sea Store ship, one of the, I think it's one of the Divine versions. Then another one of those Discovery traits, also very good for survivability. I usually use both those survivability traits, and they just are really good. They pretty much do the same thing, which is nice. And then the newest, pretty much OPest trait in the game, together with Oxtobat or Pilot ability, would be Cold Hearted, which is, yes, pretty much mandatory. If you have the free, or if you have the event ship, get this trait, get Oxtobat, and yeah, it's just great. It's almost having beta 2 or 3 or something active on your enemies at all times. At least when it's stacked, I guess. And then Promise of Ferocity, which actually I maybe wouldn't use on this character now that I look at it. This is from when I was using a escort and I didn't have any intel officer abilities, which now I might actually use this. But both of these are very good, so yeah, it depends. And then the reputation traits, energy refrequencer for the healing, the precision for the crit chance, the advanced targeting for the critical severity, and the controlled countermeasure, and plus 7% bonus energy weapon and projectile damage against controlled targets. A target that is under Cold Hearted counts as a controlled target, meaning this bonus applies, which is very good. And then something that is a little bit debatable is the auxiliary power configuration for damage, or actually the other one would also be debatable, because the aux power drops every time you hit Oxtobat enemy, so it will drop that. But there are still moments it will be using it. So, debatable. And then we have stations, which are the tacticals or SRO tacticals, the Superior Roman operatives from the Fleet Embassy. In the ops room you can get these. You can get them only once at a time, but you can get more than one. And then I have an efficiency engineering guy, which actually should be somebody else, now that I think about it. Yeah, that should have been Ahura. Oh well, I'll change that later. And then for the Psi guy, it's the Potato Head, which gives the Efficiency Pirate Psi bonus, or Efficiency Pirate bonus. Uhura gives a trait, that's why I would have used her, sort of. Because this is okay. I prefer that over efficient, let's put it that way. And then let's go over the powers. The Chemosite 1, beta, attack pattern beta. Give another reason why I also have that one in a little bit. And then Scatter Volley for the cannons, obviously, Intelligence Team. Override Subsystem Powers, and Torpedo Spread 3. And Tactical Team 1. And Engineering Team 1, Oxabat 1, Emergency Power to Weapons 3, and Oxabat 3. Then Side Team 1 and Hazard Emitters 2. Then because the beta is also interesting because I have the active space buff, Agent Narul, which when you activate beta, it'll heal you when you do damage. Also, I use the Lyrene, or however you pronounce that, with the bonus Borg damage, and 3 technicians. And I think I'm actually missing a character. Alright, yes, this character hasn't got the 6th unlocked yet. So that would be pretty much the build. Gone through the skills, gone through all the gear. That's it. My Fleet Arbiter Cannon phaser build.